Now, let's move to events in Ukraine, because the city of Zaporizhzhia has come under missile attack with multiple explosions just before dawn and a further 3 heard in the last hour or so. Well, following the first attack, local officials said 7 Russian missiles had hit infrastructure and residential buildings. Rescuers are trying to reach people trapped in the rubble. At least 2 people have been confirmed dead. Zaporizhzhia is close to the front line and the capital of a province that Russia has illegally tried to annex. Other non-military sites have been hit across Ukraine, including power stations, electricity transmission lines and residential buildings. Ukrainian officials say that Russia is retaliating for recent setbacks on the battlefield. Our diplomatic correspondent, Paul Adams, is at the site of the attack.
It's been a couple of hours already since we heard explosions, several explosions, right here in the centre of Zaporizhzhia, an hour or an hour and a half or so before dawn. Rescue workers have been here on this main avenue ever since then. And you can tell just by looking around you just what a huge explosion this was. Not only is that apartment building being completely demolished, but shops and buildings on the other side have had their windows blown in. There's a lot of damage there. And if you look at the iron railing down the middle of this avenue, it's been blown out by the force of the blast. Explosions are not unusual here in Zaporizhzhia. We're not far from Russian-controlled territory, and people are used to hearing explosions by night and day. But for something like this to happen, right in the heart of the city, an entire apartment building demolished, that is unusual and pretty shocking.
Well, our correspondent Hugo Bachega is in the capital, Kiev, and has more.
It seems that Zaporizhzhia is under attack again, with more explosions reported in the last hour. Residents have been told by local officials to remain in shelters and bunkers. We don't know yet the details of the areas that have been hit, but obviously this comes hours after those attacks in the morning, attacks that happened at around 5 o'clock in the morning here, and residential buildings were hit in the city of Zaporizhzhia. And we've seen an entire block of flats that have been completely destroyed, and people are still being rescued from the rubble of this building. And the Ukrainians, as you said, are now saying that this is the way Russia is responding to recent military defeats, by attacking civilian targets, civilian infrastructure. We've seen over the last few weeks power stations, electricity lines, residential buildings being attacked across the country. And now we're seeing again a civilian area being hit in the city of Zaporizhzhia, which is very close to the front line there in the south of the country. And it has become a target by the Russian forces. It has been frequently targeted in recent weeks.
And is any of this near the nuclear plant? And what is the latest on the safety in that part of Ukraine?
Yeah, so we should hear from the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, later today. He's visiting Kyiv today, and I think the goal of this mission is to create a safety area around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Despite the name, the Zaporizhzhia complex is away from the city itself, and obviously there have been concerns about the safety of this complex because of fighting near the area. And yesterday President Putin said that Russia was going to nationalize this power station. Zaporizhzhia is one of the regions Russia says it is annexing 4 partially occupied regions of Ukraine, something that has been dismissed by the Ukrainians, by the international community, as illegal, with no legitimacy. So this latest declaration by Moscow is likely to escalate tensions even further when it comes to this nuclear power station.
Hugo Bachega there.